Because whether you like them, woo, or you don't, they are the best thing, woo, in the football world today. Woo!
Welcome back to Booty Picks, the college football pick'em show where every single last pick is ass. I'm your host, Doug Dickey. With me is Champ Brantley Jr., and back on the depth chart this week is Mac Murphy. Unlike Trey Dean, Mac was actually injured, and we are happy to have him back. No shows last week due to Hurricane Ian, and we are thinking about our neighbors to the southwest, central, and northeastern portions of the state who continue to deal with the effects of that storm. With all of that said, the boys have a clean slate to start on this week, so let's get right to it. How are you guys feeling?
Feeling good. It's going to be a fun week of football. Ton of games. And we had too many to pick for this show, so this might run a little bit long, but I'm loving it. I'm fully torqued.
Yeah, we are in the depths of the season now. We've had the first month. We've got our bearings about us, kind of. Last week was a great slate of games, and I was, usually when you have a great slate of games, the next week you don't. And I took a gander at the rest of October, and there are plenty of amazing games for the rest of this month. October is going to be a fun month for college football. We're going to have some makers and some movers, and probably have some disappointments and some teams show their true colors, I think, in the month of October.
All right, glad you guys are excited. So let's roll right into Friday at 7:30. The Nebraska Cornhuskers at the Rutgers. Greg Schiano's Nebraska is giving 3 here, and the over-under is 48.5 points. Champ, how do you feel about that one?
I don't know. This one is a brain buster. It seems like 48.5 is too many points for these teams. Nebraska, I guess they beat Indiana last week. Rutgers was probably about as good as Indiana. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the under here. I think 48.5 is too high. So, yeah, under 48.5.
Mac, what's your pick?
I don't know how Rutgers is an underdog to this, a home dog to this Nebraska team. I've been high on Rutgers. They covered last week against Ohio State. Don't let that. They were like a 40-point dog, and they think they lost by like 38 or something like that. So they were 4-1 or something like that, or 3-1 heading into that game against Ohio State. Rutgers isn't, they're not terrible, but they're also not, obviously not good. But I like Rutgers +3. I like Greg Schiano. I don't like Nebraska at all. I've been burned by Nebraska too many times, and every time I think, I got to remember Nebraska's dead to me. They've been dead to me for, I tried to get back on them after this year against Northwestern. Thought they were going to figure it out.
Yeah,
Joke's on me. They didn't figure it out. So let's go Rutgers +3.
Bold pick. All right, that brings us to noon on Saturday, and we will be sitting in our seats at the Swamp for the homecoming game. You'll have to let us know how we picked on these. The first one up is Arkansas at number 23, Mississippi State, with the Bulldogs giving 8 to the Razorbacks. The over-under is 61.5 points. How do you guys feel about this one? Go ahead, Champ.
I think Mississippi State's pretty good. They dropped one to LSU this year for no reason whatsoever. I think they were the better team in that game, but they just played like shit. So I and they can throw the ball around. They dismantled Texas A&M this past weekend. through the air. So, and Arkansas, their secondary is kind of chewed up, and even Pittman this week said that they're struggling on man coverage. So I think that's what Leach is going to be dialing up, and that's not the team you want to play when you have a shitty secondary. So I'm going to go with the Bulldogs covering at home.
Mac, how do you feel about
Yeah,
that?
this is a tough one because I agree with a lot that Champ just said. I think and Mississippi State, I was high on. I was at first I was high on them. Then I got because I was told by somebody I was down on them at the start of the season. Someone told me at a tailgate when I was borderline blacked out, said, "Watch it, Mississippi State's going to be good. They brought the most returning production back out of any team in the SEC." And I was like, "Yeah, but still, because I was high on Ole Miss, still am high on Ole Miss."
Sure.
And then they validate. Like I was like, "Oh, maybe I was wrong about Mississippi State because they looked kind of good the first couple of weeks." And then when they lost to LSU, I was like, "Yeah, see, told you." And then last week, who did they beat? A&M. Yeah, they beat the shit out of A&M.
They killed A&M in the matching uniform game.
Um,
They actually did look different this past weekend.
but actually, wow.
I was impressed.
I'm going to my chart. Actually, no, still they're an 8-point dog. Yeah, I like Arkansas to cover 8. I think this will be nothing. I think Mississippi, even if Arkansas can't stop Mississippi State, Arkansas's offense will be able to put up just as many points. I think this will be a shootout. I think they'll match them. And also shot me down for over 61.5 too.
Yeah, I like the over too. I think you're absolutely right there. It's going to be a shootout. That's going to be a fun one.
So tune in at noon to watch a lot of points get scored.
I think this is going to be what people thought. What was the over under last week on Ole Miss and Kentucky? I thought it was it like 50 something?
It was like 56 or something.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the game like that they thought that game would be. I think that's what this one is going to be. Both of these teams will put up some points.
That was an ugly game.
Yeah, very ugly.
Will Levis sucks. Topic for another discussion. Next up, the Oklahoma Sooners, unranked, versus the Texas Longhorns, also unranked. The Longhorns giving 7, and the over-under is 65 points at the Red River Shootout in the Cotton Bowl. How do you guys feel about this one? We'll flip it. Mac, you go first.
I was like, man, how is Oklahoma? I would have thought Oklahoma would have been a 7-point favorite over Texas. But I think this is recency bias. Oklahoma's looked like dog shit the past 2 weeks. But people forget Texas. Their 2 losses are not the same. They gave Alabama everything they could handle. And then they had a letdown the following week, I believe, to Texas Tech.
No, it was the week after.
It was the week after. The week after.
They played UTSA.
Oh, okay. Well, and they did not look good against UTSA either, if we remember that.
I thought they killed them.
No, I think that was. I thought it was close until late. I could be wrong.
Yeah, maybe.
But
maybe it was like a second half thing. We were at the football game when that happened.
Yeah. So I really don't have a good read on this. I think. Yeah, it was 41-20. So I think they scored late. Man, I always bet the over on this, and I've been burned a couple times, and then I've also thought I was done a couple times, and then the fourth quarter happens. Like I've had it happen both ways. I've had like a total of 35 points be scored in the first quarter, and then 20 points the rest of the game, and then I've had where 10 points or 20 points were scored in the first half, and then 55 points get scored in the second half. Mm-hmm. I think in this instance, I'm just going to go over 65. It's Red River Shootout. Go with the over. You'll be right most of the time. And that +7, -7, that's weird to me. Because Texas hasn't been a favorite in this game in so long.
Yeah, that is I think that's what's throwing you off because Oklahoma, they lost their quarterback Dylan Gabriel. That's not the reason they lost against Kansas State though. Kansas State was kicking their ass the whole game, and then Dylan Gabriel went out. I don't know if he's going to play, but they are saying that Quinn Ewers might be back for Texas, so that might be the difference. But this is a tradition. This is a tradition obligation pick. You got to pick the fucking over in this game. It's always a blast. It's at the state fair. This is one we definitely should go to as a podcast just for funsies. Wear some boots, you know, milk some bulls, and then eat some fried shit at the state fair. That sounds like a fun trip. But yeah, I like the over always.
All right, and you might have noticed that in that last one, I put a little bit of emphasis on the fact that those two teams were unranked. And that is because the next two teams are both ranked, and we're living in the upside down. Number 17, TCU, Horned Frogs, at the number 19, Kansas Jayhawks. What is going on? I don't even know what universe we're living in anymore. And that's not a typo. It's the number 19 Kansas Jayhawks. And it's not basketball season either. So I don't really know what's going on, what to think about this game. I wish I could watch it. But like I said, we'll be in the stadium. That being said, the Horned Frogs are giving 7 points to the Jayhawks. And the over-under is 67.5 points in Kansas on FS1. Go ahead, champ.
All right, TCU at Kansas. This is College Game Day is going to be there. In what kind of world, like you said, is unranked Red River Shootout happening while TCU and Kansas are ranked? This is the first time Kansas has been ranked and 5-0 since 2009. So pretty cool for them. There's been a lot of shit that's happened in the world since 2009. Yeah, TCU, they beat the shit out of Oklahoma. I think the Horned Frogs are the pick here. Kansas, to me, I just don't want to be late on getting off the Kansas bandwagon. It's such a nice ride right now, but I don't want to get burned by them. And this feels like a spot where in the movie you think that this is like before Apollo Creed fights the guy or Drago. This is Kansas State, or Kansas is going to get Apollo Creeded in the ring by TCU, and then then Kansas will come back and beat somebody else. But I think TCU is going to beat the hell out of them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think TCU is a damn good football team. I think Kansas is much improved. I'm not gonna get up here and lie and say they. But I mean, if you break it down though, who on their wins that they have? I'm looking.
They beat Iowa State last week. That was the big one.
Yeah, they beat
Matt Campbell. Didn't. He was centering the ball to kick it. I'm pretty sure.
But Iowa State sucks, and
yes, they do.
And they beat Duke. That's their only loss, but Duke is still fucking Duke. They beat Houston, who we all as a podcast have agreed is a disgrace.
Yeah.
And they beat West Virginia, who has not had Geno Smith or what's his name? Pat White. So or Will Greer.
They need to get Stoops in town and get the ship right.
So West Virginia is a shit show. And so I look at who they beat, and you could kind of say the same. I mean, TCU, they haven't really beat anyone unless
Oklahoma.
But Oklahoma sucks too. So, but I can't.
They're not worse than Kansas.
Correct. Oklahoma's going to beat Iowa State by 25.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with TCU -7. Game day is going to be here. It's going to be hyped up and just a super hyped kickoff, and they're going to be they're gonna be so riled up. I think the emotions are gonna get the best of them. And if I'm wrong, I'm gonna ride Kansas the rest of the fucking season. I will tell you that. If I'm wrong,
Holding on for dear life.
if Kansas wins this game, I will ride Kansas. I don't care if they get beat by 70 by someone. I am betting Kansas the rest of the season.
All right, jot that down then.
All right.
What does your chart say about Kansas?
It was wrong weeks ago. It had to have been.
Yeah,
this is pre-hype.
They're 2-3 based on my charts, so I'm way off on Kansas. But in my defense, who the fuck had Kansas winning 5 games?
We're just lost to see.
Who'd you have them beaten?
I had them going 2-10. I had them beating.
Getting there 2 up front and then losing out.
Yeah, Tennessee Tech and then Duke. I had them beating Duke.
Hey, it's never too late to lose out.
And fuck, dude. I mean, they haven't won 5 games in the last 3 years combined. Why the fuck would I pick them to win 5 this year? You know?
Yeah.
We're lost at sea. Following your charts. All right, moving on to the next one. The number 8 Tennessee Volunteers in Baton Rouge taking on the number 25 ranked LSU Tigers. Tennessee is giving only 3 points here, and the over-under is 64. Do you guys think it'll be a great night to be a Tiger at the end of this one or not? Go ahead, Champ.
Yeah, this one is too good to be true. Because it really looks like the easiest one on the whole paper, but we've been here before. Tennessee thinks they're all world, and then they go in and play a logo, which is all LSU really has right now, and they lose. They shit their bed basically. So that worries me a bit. I'm not really sure where I stand on it. I do kind of like the over of 64. Actually, no, I really don't, because LSU sucks. That Auburn game, LSU Auburn was the most potty, the poop mouth. I gotta take Tennessee, man, and I'm tempted to take them as a lock, but it scares the hell out of me. They might lose by 10.
We'll have to consult with Vol Rapper and see if he does something for
Vol for life
for the game, or a wrap for this one, or do they only break that out for when they play Florida since it's their biggest game of the season of the year?
Yeah, no, they do it for every game.
Oh God, that's too much. Mac, how do you feel about Tennessee and my family's favorite team, the LSU Tigers?
I agree with everything that Champ just said. As far as LSU sucks, Tennessee looks good. I just don't think, man, picking against LSU against anyone other than Bama in Death Valley is not how you make money. So them being a 3-point dog, I think
a noon game though.
No, it's not. 3:30. It is.
No, it's a noon game.
Oh, that's right. Fuck. I'm getting that one mixed up with the Georgia.
Yeah,
Auburn
it should be. This should be a 3:30 game, but they're lucky as fuck because they could have got a 3:30 crowd or a fucking 8 p.m. crowd in Death Valley for
fuck.
Tennessee.
That just. It's a day game.
It just blew your mind, huh?
You know what? I'm still gonna go LSU +3 because the last time a team wore orange at noon and LSU, it did not end well for them, and that was for your fighting Florida Gators.
Can Tennessee's defense stop a counter though?
I don't think Tennessee's defense can't stop anything. I think LSU is going to run it down their fucking throat. LSU.
The hate level is rising.
LSU +3. Fuck Tennessee. Fuck them. Y'all haven't heard me since that game.
Got it. Well, yeah, no, we need UT to lose a couple. That way we can sneak back into the race for the East.
I just want to be able to retweet Dan Mullen's East.
I had to block him. I can't do it.
Well, the last time Tennessee beat us, they still finished behind us in the SEC East. So, yeah, history is on our side.
Yeah, that was funny.
And it loves to repeat itself. Anyway, I can't talk about those fucking assholes in Knoxville.
God, I'll never forget that. I tweeted out the old what's the mountain man gif? What's his name? It's Robert
Jeremiah Johnson.
I tweeted out the Jeremiah Johnson little head nod. I said at Will Muschamp whenever the worst South Carolina team ever somehow beat Josh Dobbs and Butch Jones's Tennessee team and gave us a possibility to win the like it put us into controlling our own destiny. And that was amazing.
Yeah, we got the opportunity to get blown out by Alabama and Atlanta. That was great.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along. This brings us to 3:30. Texas Tech is at Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State is giving 9.5 points. Excuse me, and the over/under is 70 points. Go ahead, champ.
Yeah. So this one, this is a great Big 12 matchup. Tradition tells me to take the over here, but it seems like 70 is just too high. Texas Tech has been in some close games this year. They beat Texas. Oak State is 4-0. They're pretty fucking good. I don't know. I like Texas Tech to keep it close. I'll take Texas Tech in the points.
Mac, how do you feel?
I think Oklahoma State's a pretty good football team. They beat a good Baylor team. I really like Baylor. I had them in the Big 12 championship.
Those yellow uniforms were sick, by the way.
So I'm going to go Oak State in the points in this game because I don't think Texas Tech's very good. I think people. I think this line's skewed because they beat Texas, and people are still remembering that. But they have showed their true colors. They're not good. Oklahoma State is good. That's pretty easy in my opinion. So take the 9.5. Oklahoma State should win this by 2 or 3 scores.
Would you say frauds?
Texas Tech was never real, so they're not frauds. You got to be thought that you're real to be a fraud, and I never thought they were real. So
I like where you're coming from, Mac. I'm gonna switch the pick. You've convinced me. We're going Oak State. Oak State. Me and Genius Boy riding together.
And remember we had the conversation of firing coaches that have taken you to your ceiling, and Texas Tech is one of those programs that have done that, and they are forever cursed for that. So we can't forget.
And Oak State's the one program that has not done that.
Correct. They have
They never should have fired Mike Gundy.
No, and it's a weird dynamic that Mike Gundy, he always flirts with teams and acts like he's going to leave, and Oak State gets pissed at him. Like some years they're like, when he goes 8-4 and can't beat Oklahoma, like he's something like 1-10 against Oklahoma or something.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Right there.
Yeah. Bedlam, like all time, Oklahoma State's like 15-70 or something. And you know what? And they're the ones that are like, we want Bedlam. Why? It's Oklahoma that won't do it. But
yeah,
really, it's actually good for you, bud. Because that doesn't work out for you most of the time.
Yeah, Bedlam's tough scene for them.
All right, next game up at 3:30. You heard a little bit about the CBS mistakes as far as ratings and programming go. We have the Auburn Plainsmen taking on the number 2 Georgia Bulldogs, and from here on out, they are the Plainsmen because that's your mid mascot. That's what we're going to call you until you're better. Just is what it is. Sorry, but you're not playing like the Tigers, and you sure as hell aren't playing like Eagles. So the Plainsmen you will be. And Georgia is giving 29 points to these sad people in Alabama, and the over-under is 49. It's the Deep South's oldest rivalry, but no one really cares because they suck in Auburn. How do you feel about this one, champ?
Yeah, so I think Auburn hasn't won this game since 2017. Is that what I have?
Yeah.
Yeah, since 2017. UGA is coming off they almost got found out by Missouri To be honest with you, I was watching that game and I knew the entire time that Missouri was going to fuck up and Georgia was going to win. It never really. I was hoping that Mizzou would hold on, but I knew that they wouldn't ultimately. But I think the fact that they won their game and went down in the rankings by one is going to be enough motivation for them to beat the holy hell out of Auburn. So I like Georgia and the huge spread. I think they're going to blow the doors off them and possibly get Brian Harsin fired on the field in a Herm Edwards type manner. But we'll see.
Mac, it looks like you're looking at your charts here.
Oh no. I'm trying to get caught up. I'm behind a few weeks. I haven't updated them because I know this pick, but because this pick is so easy for me and so quick, and Champ did such a good job of giving us a backstory. I'm going to give a bigger backstory of why this is a 3:30 CBS game. I think we've known all along that CBS after next season will no longer be with the SEC, and ESPN will have all of the SEC games. I think that there has been some collusion among the teams and incentivizing teams to look bad and lose. There's been some money, in this NIL world we have here. This is you gotta put on your tinfoil hat. And
I'm not even tracking what you're saying right now.
This is
ESPN is paying
level.
ESPN is paying these college teams to lose these games that the week before they're on CBS to look so fucking bad, to drive ratings down for CBS, to just give them the big old shaft the last 2 years they have the SEC games.
It's fucking Rupert Murdoch ruining football.
Why would the Texas A&M and Bama are flexed for 8 p.m. and there's 25 better SEC games the rest of the season?
So you think Jimbo took money from ESPN to tank against Mississippi State?
Why wouldn't he? His contract's guaranteed. Why the fuck wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's true.
They put 80,000 people in the stands during COVID. Why wouldn't he take fucking?
Explain the fucking App State loss then. Did you get paid for that too?
Long con.
At risk of just you being right and me just not seeing it, I think that the more rational response to this game being at 3:30 is the fact that there's only 2 more times that CBS gets to air the Deep South's oldest rivalry, and that's probably why they put it on 3:30.
Gay.
Oh, edit that out. We'll get canceled for that one.
There's no one watching, so fuck them.
Yeah. So with that being said, Georgia's going to be in by 45.
Yeah.
So do you also want the over then?
No, because Auburn won't score.
It'll be 45-0.
45-3.
All right. Moving right along, that brings us to the number 11 Utah Utes at the number 18 UCLA Bruins. Utah, I don't get the disrespect. They've been beating the snot out of everybody, but they're still have not cracked the top 10 after their loss to Florida. I guess maybe it's because Florida's lost a couple games, so people are thinking that Utah's kind of weak. And they're only giving 4.5 points to UCLA with the over-under being 65. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Champ, go ahead.
So UCLA, they beat Washington last weekend. That was the first real competition they faced. They had like 4 cupcakes in a row. I don't know how they even got away with that scheduling. But Utah is a different ball team than Washington, I believe. So Utah has been great against the spread since losing to Florida. So I'm going to continue to ride them. I love the Utes and given 4.5. I think that they're a better team and they should win by multiple scores versus UCLA.
Mac.
Yep, I tend to agree with that. Utah, I have Utah winning this game on my chart. I did have UCLA. I have them winning 10 games this year. I think they're going to be a decent ball team. But I don't think I think Utah's just a better football team, just well-rounded, better coached team. Probably not the most flashy team. UCLA, Dorian Thompson-Robinson's been there for 8 years, it seems, at UCLA. They have experience there. He is electric and has his moments, both good and bad. But I think the consistency of Utah is what's going to prevail in this game. I don't think they're going to win by multiple scores. I think they'll probably win by 7. Maybe score a touchdown late to put it away. But I'll go Utah minus 4.5.
UCLA is soft as baby shit. That's my hypothesis. I have nothing to go off. I haven't seen him play.
It is crazy, though, thinking about the fact that we wanted Chip Kelly for a brief period of time to be the head coach of Florida and then got Dan Mullen, and we're psyched about that. And we're like, actually, why did we ever want Chip Kelly? And Chip Kelly still has a job, and Dan Mullen's a dipshit. At 7:30.
I think that's why Chip Kelly went there. Is because everyone's like, oh yeah, Chip Kelly's still at UCLA. Like he kind of just hide in the shadows of LA.
We're psychopaths.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yes. Dan Mullen's still a dipshit, though.
We've been going through ordeals.
Next game up, 7:30, number 17, BYU Cougars versus the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
You missed one. You missed the 4 p.m.
I missed a 4 p.m.? Oh, yeah. I did. You're right. Scratch that, rewind, reverse it, and put it back in. I miss this one because I don't care about Miami. The next game up is actually at 4 p.m. The UNC Tar Heels at the Miami Hurricanes. That team is total dog shit, but still giving 4 points with an over-under of 65.5 at Hard Rock Stadium in their apartment at 4 p.m. on ESPN2. How do you feel about that one, champ?
Yeah, I mean, I love UNC in this spot. UNC scores a ton of points. Miami, they're already going through the quarterback shuffle like they seem to do every year. It's just another who was that quarterback they had? He was number 12, like kind of skinny black guy. Like his name was like Jacoby.
Ja'Cory Harris.
Ja'Cory Harris. Yeah, it seems like every year they're just doing that same mambo with the QBs. Just oh, this guy's gonna be great. This guy's gonna be great. They already have burned through Tyler Van Dam or whatever his name is. Van Dyke. Less cool than Van Dam. So yeah, I love UNC to go in there and kick their ass.
Didn't Van Dam murder his family and himself?
I don't know.
No, that was Chris.
That's Chris Benoit. Never mind.
Yeah. Jean-Claude would never do such a thing.
That is true. Mac, how do you feel about this one?
I'm a little worried because I'm agreeing with Champ on everything. But sometimes you got to ride. You got to come in their hole.
With your boy.
You got to come in their hole. And
yeah, exactly.
I'm getting in the foxhole with my boy Champ.
Yeah.
Coming all in that hole, and I'm gonna go with.
Come on in, brother.
I'm gonna go with UNC +4. I think they're gonna win this by the chart. The chart unfortunately does have Miami winning this one, but in my defense, the chart has been wrong multiple times, so I can.
It's not me that's wrong. It's the chart.
I can veer off of the chart. So here, it's a win-win situation. If Miami wins the game, I'm like my chart.
I knew all along.
Yeah, I just got caught up in the moment. That's what I can play.
Yeah, and happy feet in the pocket.
And so yeah, I'm gonna go UNC +4. And actually, I could be right both ways. They could lose this game by 3, and then I'm in fucking Einstein.
Yeah, genius boy.
UNC
genius.
A late addition from the secretary on the card. It's an over-under only pick. Do you think it'll be over or under 20,000 fans at Hard Rock Stadium this weekend?
Under, for sure.
It'll be over, but by 500.
They should play Utah. Utah would fill that bitch up.
They would. They travel well. That was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Can't say enough about the youths. Okay, now this moves us to 7:30 with the number 16 BYU Cougars taking on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. So whichever team loses has to go and convert souls in Sin City. Notre Dame is giving 3.5 points. Again, I don't get what Vegas is doing on anything, but whatever. And the over-under is 52. Go ahead, champ.
Yeah, so I just want to start off with this is the weirdest two teams to meet in Vegas of all time. You have the obvious cult BYU, and then you have probably the most conservative fan base in the country with Notre Dame, and they're going to be packing in the Sin City. So it makes no sense, but I'm here for it. I think it's going to be fun. Notre Dame stinks. I don't really know why they're favored in this game. BYU got blown out a couple weeks ago by Oregon, but that doesn't really play here. I don't think that's going to factor in, or it's not a good allegory, I should say. I like BYU. If you're going to give me, I like BYU money line in this game. I think BYU is going to win the football game.
Mac, how do you feel about this one?
Good pick, champ. Getting back in the foxhole.
Hell yeah, coming in each other's holes, you know. You come in mine, I come in yours.
Yeah, just come on over, man.
Yeah, hop in.
I converted you to a couple and made you come in my hole, so
Yeah, hop in my hole, brother.
Yeah, I like BYU. Notre Dame fucking sucks. I don't know any other way to put it. And BYU's not great. And I think actually BYU's not bad.
BYU is BYU.
Yeah, and they're going to win 9 or 10 games every fucking year, regardless of who they've got. Some Romney playing quarterback probably, and they're gonna win the game.
They got a hell of a farm system out there.
Notre Dame is bad, and BYU is, people think they're not that good because they got beat by Oregon, who's kind of figured it out. I know we talk shit about Bo Nix, but he's figured it out the past few weeks. The Pac-12 is the perfect place for him. I think BYU is going to win this game. I don't think Notre Dame is good at all.
Notre Dame damn near lost to Cal within a fucking baby's breath away of losing to Cal.
Listen,
they should have.
I have been a Cal fan ever since I watched a late night game with like the picturesque landscape in the background, sunset with my dad in like 2006 when they were good. So don't talk shit about Cal, okay?
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch whipping the cart around.
But they do
those
suck.
days.
And so does Notre Dame, who's always overrated. It's just good to see them falling from grace in an ungraceful way, but still fuck Brian Kelly for not responding to
loopholes.
That's just wrong. Okay, we've talked about a couple games that we think they're going to score a lot of points. Here's one that is the opposite of that. Iowa is at Illinois, with Illinois giving 3.5 points, and the over-under is a measly 35.5, which I think I could score by myself on a peewee football team. But nonetheless, I digress. Go ahead, Mac, this time.
Holy fuck, I thought we were almost done, and we have like 2 pages worth of games left.
Yeah, I
know. Yeah, don't think about this too hard. Just bet. You're not going to watch this game, so just bet under 35.5 and just check it in the morning. If you have a 20 play card, like it's looking like I may end up having this week, if you lose this one, you live with it, because it's like, yeah, how could they not score a combined 35.5 points? But you're not going to watch it, so under 35.5. Don't stress it. Let it sit there. Let it sit like a good stock. Just check it in 20 years. Hold. Yeah, and you might win. So. Fuck. I like Illinois 3.5. They're a fucking wagon.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
That's who I like. I'm taking Illinois minus 3.5, 100%, and I might take the over. I think Illinois can score. They put up fucking 35 last week against Wisconsin.
Ah,
And
God damn it, you got me. I'm gonna take 35.5. I'll
hell
take
yeah,
over.
over and Illini.
Double dip. I went from
Hell yeah,
not watching this game and putting it under to now I am going to
screaming
watch.
at the TV.
I'm gonna on the Big Ten Network while there's 4 other ranked games going on. I'm gonna be watching Iowa and Illinois and screaming whenever it's 20-13 and 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 Burt Ball is just milking the clock and I'm like, you better fucking score a point, god damn it,
Put your ass in the end zone, or maybe a pick six.
or kick a field goal to seal it late. Line up for a 58-yarder and like doink it in.
Hell yeah! I'm glad you came in my hole, man. There's a lot of coming to each other's holes this week. We're synced up. We're gonna either float or die.
Yeah, you win as a team, you lose as a team. All right, next game up is the Kansas State at Iowa State, Battle of the States of two of the Plain States. Lots of states going on here. Kansas State, fuck, I've fucked myself because I've said state so many times.
State.
Oh God!
I like state in this one.
The Wildcats are giving 2 points to the Cyclones, an over/under of 46.5 points. Go ahead with this one again first, Mac.
Yeah, this is, I think, one of the easiest picks on the slate.
Yeah.
Kansas State -2 that's the play. Matt Campbell, we touched on it earlier. Fucking most overrated coach, I think, in the country.
Pussy. He's a pussy.
And he probably, now that I'm thinking of it, now would be a time for him to leave and go to Nebraska because, or something like he fits that. And if Nebraska's fine going 7-6 every year, which they need to be, he's the perfect guy for it because that he has had one, maybe 2 good seasons. Like they were like 9-3, and then one year 10-2, but they got boat raced by Louisiana Lafayette a couple years ago. They've been a just 7-6, 7-5 team the last few years, and in Kansas State, I think. Let me go to the chart. Kansas State.
They just beat Oklahoma 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I have a W as this one on here, and 2 points is essentially almost a pick 'em. So I like Kansas State.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The over is really low, so I'm like eyeballing it, but I don't really have a feel for it. But I think Kansas State -2. That's free money. I don't think Iowa State's good at all, and if the game is close, I don't trust Iowa to put it away. So I think Kansas State, they have a little more dog in them than Iowa State, so I like them to cover the 2.
South Carolina, next game up at the Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky giving 10.5 points here, and the over/under is 49. I hate Kentucky because they're still hyped about the Florida win, and I kind of hope that they lose this one just because I think that would be great. How do you guys feel about it?
So I like under 49. I don't think either of these teams are going to be able to score many points. I was flirting with Kentucky 10.5 because I think South Carolina is garbage. But I'm going to stay away from that. I need to put a few unders on my card, and this is a perfect spot to put an under 49 because I think Kentucky's good for 24, and I think South Carolina might be good for at most 17. So there we go.
I like that. I think this past weekend against Ole Miss, Kentucky was definitely like one of the ugliest games so far. It was just like everything was going wrong for both teams the whole game. It felt like, and Will Levis kind of got like exposed. I think there was somebody during the offseason like started the the narrative that Will Levis is going to be a first round draft pick, and he's been getting dogged mercilessly for it, and that I don't think he really ever probably deserved that. And he might not even be the best quarterback in this game. I think Rattler stinks also out loud to add to that. But I don't know that Will Levis is all that much better. So I do like where you're going, Mac, with the under. I have no idea about the spread. I think that South Carolina could reach out and beat them. I mean, this is classic Kentucky fuck up territory. So I don't want to touch the spread, but I like the over under. Or I like the under, I should say. Kroger's a slow field too. Not a lot of points on that field.
That's very true. Okay, next game up. I believe we're in the 7:30 games. Washington State is traveling to the Coliseum to take on the USC Trojans. USC giving, excuse me, USC giving 13 points here, and the over/under is 66. Mac, go ahead with this one.
Yeah, I've been a fan of. I think I've bet 3 USC overs this season, and I have hit on those. So I'm going to keep it going. USC scores a lot. They can't really stop anybody. I can't remember. I think it was, who were they playing? Oregon State slowed them down. That was a low-scoring game.
Yeah, 17-14.
Yeah, and I think I didn't have the over in that game. I had USC and the points in that game. I've also been betting USC as favorites, and I was like 3-1 with them and like 3-0 in overs. So I'm going to go over 66. I think they're going to score points. That 13, I could see them winning by 20. I could see this being a shootout and being a one-score game. So I'm just going to go with the over, have fun, watch it, watch some late night. Well, this isn't Pac-12 After Dark, but you get what I'm saying.
Champ.
Yeah, let's see. I don't really know because
you're not going to come in his
I don't
hole?
really have a good feel. I do like coming in your hole, buddy. I'll come in your hole.
This foxhole is open. This hole is open to anyone that wants in. Come on in.
It's warm, Yeah, I'll come in your hole. Go over 66. Foxhole buddies, let's go.
Just everybody's coming in each other's holes.
Yeah, they should. This is Washington State. Okay, yeah, no, I like this. Okay.
All right, next game up. We sort of discussed it a little bit earlier. Texas A&M at Alabama. Alabama giving 24 points, and this one's at 8 p.m. on CBS. The over/under is 52. Go ahead there, Mac.
That's a lot of points. Bryce Young is, a little banged up. I think he's going to play. I think he'll play. I like, Texas A&M sucks. Their defense is not. Well, no, they gave up a shit pile of points last week to Mississippi State.
A lot. And also, A&M beat them last year.
They did. That was such a weird day.
Revenge game.
Yeah, big time. In Tuscaloosa.
I remember watching on the ride home from. It had to be the Vanderbilt game last year. Another nooner, so it's much like today. Maybe deja vu, and they win. They were big dogs last year too. They were huge. They were like 17 some odd point dogs. I'm honestly, I don't want to pick this game, to be honest with you. I really don't. It's like it's on the card. Not going to be on my card. Not going to be on my card. But Alabama and the points, you'll make money if you bet Alabama and the points typically.
I like the over in this game. I think 52 is kind of a low number. Alabama might put up 45 on them. So, and I think Texas A&M could probably account for the rest. So I like the over. I think the Alabama rule is in place. You'd never bet against Alabama in the points, but I'm going to stay away. I'm going to just stick with the over.
All right, the next 8 p.m. game, the unranked Florida State Seminoles taking on the number 14 ranked NC State Wolfpack. NC State is only giving 3.5 points here, and the over/under is 50.5 points. Feel so bad for those unranked semi holes in Tallahassee. It's just so sad. They were back, and now maybe they're not. Let's see if they can get back on track this week. How do you feel about it, Mac?
I think NC State's good. They they put up a good fight for Clemson against Clemson. I think Florida State's not good. I think and I'm not being biased. I mean, I am, but I mean, you look at their wins. They've had some fluky wins. Like Louisville handed them that game. LSU handed them that game. They were in a
That was crazy.
Who else? They were in a dogfight with. Oh no, it was Louisville and LSU, and they acted like after both of those games, like they have, and they
Won
did.
the
Yeah,
championship.
they were out there, stomping, like we're back, and they play Wake Forest, not Riley Skinner's Wake Forest.
I think this guy broke all of Skinner's records.
I think he did too,
He's the Skinner incarnate.
And that Wake Forest team, that game wasn't as close as what that score indicated either. They were Wake Forest was handling them. I think NC State is going to do the same thing and handle them much like Wake Forest did. And mind you, Wake Forest was coming off a loss to Clemson, did the same thing. They just did what they did to Florida State. NC State coming off a loss to Clemson, going to do history repeats itself. That's all.
Yeah, this is in Raleigh too, so I like that. I think this line should be more like 7.5 for the Wolfpack. So I think NC State is a better football team. I wouldn't say that they fought against Clemson, but they were certainly in the game until the end, or not in the game, but like they hung around. I would say. I don't know how much like actual fight they have, but I don't think that the Knolls are that good. I think that they're. I mean, as long as Mike Norvell is the coach at Florida State, they're just gonna be kind of shitty. They're gonna be a little bit better than UCF. So I think the Wolfpack is going to cover the 3.5 pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, just as a side note, you guys were talking about that they celebrated their wins against Louisville and LSU like they were the national championship, and you probably would too if it was the first time you reached double-digit wins in the in 3 seasons or 4 seasons.
Yeah, and they were ranked for a week.
Double digit.
Norvell hadn't reached 10 wins yet at the beginning.
Oh, I thought you meant the season. I was like, "How? What the fuck?" Okay.
No. Yeah, he's a 10-win kind of coach. It's just 10 wins over 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Hey, he's got to be picky. Can be picky with your wins,
Graduate assistant.
You don't want to win them all up front,
That is the last game that we are picking. I believe that the boys have some locks as well as some fade picks, and then Max got his parlay. Give us your locks.
I think we'll go shot for shot with our locks. I think we're in each other's foxhole.
Yeah.
And you can give me.
I'm living in your hole this week, dude.
You can give me a yay or nay if this is on your locks or not.
Okay.
Let's
say it at the same time. Let's say.
Wait. Hold. How many locks do you have?
Okay. I have 2.
2. All right. Let's go with the first one. I can get
my first.
Hold on. First one. Let me a 7:30 game. 7:30 game.
Okay, I know.
All right. 1, 2,
3.
K-State.
Oh, I like that one too. Oh, okay.
I'm not BYU.
K-State is a lock for me as well. That was my other one. I didn't realize it was at 7:30.
Okay, so K-State, BYU is not a lock for me. I'm sorry, I'm not getting in your hole.
Okay,
I'm not coming in your hole for that one. Even though I like them, but it's not a lock. I like them. I just don't. That's not lock territory. K-State -2, and you have K-State -2.
Yeah, that's easy.
And then you have BYU +3.5. My other lock is fuck. man, I was
Tennessee's a good one, man.
I was more confident about this one at
or TCU
when we were picking. Yeah, I'm going TCU -7. I think that's I think that's my next lock.
Yeah, I think that's a good
Actually, fuck it. Give me a third lock. Kentucky, South Carolina under 49. I think that's a lock. I think that's I think that's a lock.
You're proud of that one.
I'm proud.
All right, what about your fade picks?
Oh God, what am I gonna get wrong?
Over 35.5 Iowa, Illinois.
No, I like that. I'm pretty confident about that one. I think the South Carolina game. Yeah, I would pick Kentucky. That's what my pick would be. I would fade me on that.
I'm going through my actual card. I was putting in actual bets during the show, and I have a 15 play card because I love everything out here.
Addicted to the game, yeah.
Yeah, I think my fade in both is both ways. It's over 35.5 Illinois, Iowa, and also Illinois -3.5. I think that's
that's your fade.
I think that's a fade. That's a fade.
Right.
That's a yeah.
There's so many good games, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, Nebraska, Rutgers would be a good fade pick. What did I even pick for that? What did I pick, Doug? Do you have the tally?
Nebraska and
you
Rutgers.
picked no, you were gonna pick
under.
Nebraska.
I picked the under.
Yeah.
Fade me.
All right.
Yeah, that
ready?
game I have no feel for.
Ready for my my parlay of the week?
Yeah, let's see what the parlay is, brother.
All right. In honor of October, it's spooky season now. So we have the Flying Purple People Eaters parlay. And you could do this one or two ways. I'm calling it just a money line parlay, but I like all four of these teams. I have ECU +2 over Tulane, but for the purposes of this, I'm going to do ECU money line, Kansas State money line over Iowa State, Washington money line. I think they're playing. Who are they playing? Arizona.
Yeah.
Or Arizona State. They're playing one of the Arizona's teams, I think. TCU money line as well. That gets you, if you do all four teams money line, gets you +560 odds. I don't know the odds of taking the lines on those games, but it would be much higher, and I'm confident in that too. ECU +2, Kansas State -2, Washington -14, TCU -7. Make yourself, put a few dollars on that and have some fun. Responsibly.
Purple.
Yes, and responsibly is the key. Once again, we are legally required to remind you that nobody on this podcast has any clue what they're talking about. That's part of the reason why it's called Booty Picks, where all of the picks are ass. This week, we came in each other's holes a lot. Maybe, we'll keep that going as the season goes along. It's a lot of fun to come in each other's holes. You
get to root. You get to root for the games with your boys, and just I come in your hole, you come in mine, and we just hang out in each other's hole, foxhole.
My hole has an open door on it.
Well, maybe I'll play. Maybe I'll play around with it a little bit on Saturday morning. Then, how about that?
There you go.
Yeah. Come get in my foxhole.
All right, that's enough of coming in each other's holes for one night. We'll see you guys next week on Booty Picks, where all the picks are ass. I'm Doug Dickey with the boys, Champ and Mac Murphy.